Before we start this video today, make sure you leave a like on this video. It certainly helps me out as a content creator and shows me that I am doing a great job. And if you haven't already done it, make sure you subscribe. Also, make sure you hit that bell icon if you want to get updates on new videos. I'm going to be very blunt in this video. Online pranking needs to end. It's become this media of annoying and predictable behavior that really only appeals to children, and because of this, it is able to sucker them in so the media can hang on by a single thread. As a result of this ever-evolving media, unlike the pranks of the past, which were clever magic tricks or done on people who could clearly take these pranks, now has just turned into a bunch of annoying people doing the same thing over and over and over again, and annoying complete strangers just for views. Hello everybody, your friendly neighborhood demonic Ravenwolf October is back with another interesting topic, so let us get into it. Today we are discussing something that unfortunately still exists and has become more prevalent in this age of fast-form content on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. That is, of course, online pranking. Now, for better or worse, but mostly worse, the furry fandom has been a part of, unfortunately, online pranks, as well as been the victims of many online pranking. Like a necromance corpse, this media seems to be resurrected every few years, and every time it is resurrected, it becomes less and less of what it was before. Until where it is today, which is just a bunch of people harassing and annoying perfect strangers. Since the furry fandom is very unique, and it supports LGBTQ+ rights, it is a prime target for such harassment and online pranking harassment. You know, those people who ask a bunch of annoying, stupid questions as well as offensive questions and then act like it's completely normal, and then when they get called out on it, they pretend to play the victim? Yeah, those people. Has unfortunately become more common in convention spaces as well as at furry conventions and furry meetups. You've probably seen some videos floating around of, I went to a furry convention, or even worse, I went to a furry convention and got banned. These videos are quite common, and the more common they are, the more younger viewers want to emulate this type of content, simply because they saw their favorite YouTuber doing it, and then they think it is okay to harass people at conventions. This online pranking that is essentially harassment often takes this type of pattern. Asking inappropriate questions.
We all got sex with furries. It's online. Where is the place where you pay the woman to spit in your mouth? Else if you started selling wits, at least from the black community. It's a culture thing.
I think this becomes more common because people are used to saying these deplorable things in comment sections on the internet, which in itself is not appropriate at all, it's just annoying. But when they say it online, it unfortunately gathers a lot of attention, which is what they're looking for. And I guess since it works so well online, they decide to do it in real life. Which I think is kind of weird because the anonymity that protected you online no longer exists now. You're in real life. People can see you, people can record you, and people can report you more easily. And there's not going to be any pathetic YouTube moderators to protect you, or do nothing about you. So if you do this kind of content, don't complain if people expose your behavior to a wider audience and you get called out for it. Another very serious thing that shouldn't be joked about in these videos is touching people inappropriately. This occurs outside of online pranking and not just in the furry community, but also in cosplay in general. Suffice to say, this major issue of people touching other people inappropriately at conventions is not being helped by online prank videos trying to normalize it. Touching somebody inappropriately can also be considered assault. Post-edit October here, I just wanted to highlight once again that touching somebody inappropriately is a very serious issue that is going on in both the cosplay and furry fandoms. It is such an incredibly big issue that it might warrant its own individual video. I came across these two clips, one from 2015 and the other one from a more recent video made by PB, a prominent fursuiter. This harassment is becoming way too common in the cosplay and furry communities and goes beyond any type of online pranking, which is normalizing it. But even though these videos are in fact fake and set up, they are not helping the situation. And finally, the last thing that occurs in these videos and how these videos often end is the harassment of the con staff.
We do.
Yes, we need your badge.
No, you can have my badge.
Yes, I can, as a
no,
matter
sir,
of fact.
you can't.
We're required to surrender that
No,
to a member of
sir.
staff if asked.
No, sir, it's my badge. I paid for this, sir.
I understand. We're going to go to security now.
Can I have my badge back?
Part of the convention standards of context is you have to surrender this to a member of staff if asked.
My badge is good. Do you care to get them back? No, you guys can keep the badge. You guys keep it. It's fine. I just don't like how we're being treated.
Outside.
It's open to the public.
Outside.
Open to the public.
Outside.
But it's cold outside. The flyer says this is open to the public. But this is the public.
Outside.
This is not the event.
Outside.
We're not in the event anymore.
Outside. Keep moving outside.
Okay.
Go.
This often occurs after the individual is caught. Of course, they always play the victim and claim they paid their ticket, so that gives them right to film people without their consent and harass them? As we can see in this video in particular, the online prankster is trying to justify their behavior by making these fallacious arguments, as well as trying to stay in the convention as long as they can to get as much content as they can. This, of course, brings us to the fallacious arguments in online pranking. A lot of these fallacious arguments are just excuses for the online prankster to try and justify their actions as well as their behavior. And I have certainly seen a lot of them, so I compiled a list. Here are the arguments that I have heard, and I have labeled them in no particular order because, let's face it, none of these are any good. The prank is just for fun. This one is very basic, and yes, online pranks can be very fun, until they're not. You often get this little side argument here where a person will say, "Oh, you're just being too serious. It's just a prank. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter." Okay, if it doesn't matter, then don't get upset when somebody destroys your camera because you've made them upset or angry. And that does happen quite a lot. But hey, it doesn't matter, right? It's just a prank. So yes, in some situations, it can matter and the prank can backfire on you and no longer be fun, even though it was never fun to begin with. We're not hurting anybody. This is one that is pretty common and I hear a lot. If a person has asked this online prankster to stop recording them or stop harassing them and they have reported them to con staff or higher authorities, then they absolutely did cause harm to somebody. Or you never would have been reported to begin with. Also, all the evidence of the harassment occurs on the camera that you were using to record them with, without their consent. So, how does this excuse work? Absolutely harm is occurring, so shut the hell up, you dolt. None of it's real. We hire actors or pay people, we prank. This is what is called stooging, where online pranksters will hire somebody to play the victim of their prank. Because if they did this prank to an absolute stranger without letting them in on the joke, they'd be in absolute serious financial or legal trouble. Also, sometimes younger viewers who have no idea that the online prank is staged believe that they are actually happening to real people and not paid actors. So they think that this type of behavior and the pranking is okay and will not get them into any legal problem whatsoever if they try to emulate it. That's not good. Now, I might make this its own separate topic or its own separate video, but you should never be a stooge for online pranksters. It is a social experiment. No! Just no! This type of justification, argument, whatever, is probably one of the most ridiculous, insulting, and terrible arguments I've ever had the misfortune of hearing. This whole online pranking is actually a smart social experiment is 100% false. First of all, you need to get permission from somebody to perform a social experiment on them. And since many of these pranks are supposedly happening to complete strangers, I don't think that's exactly gonna happen. The next thing, there are also various codes of conduct that you must obey when conducting a social experiment, one of which is do no harm to the subject of your social experiment. If you cause unnecessary physical or emotional harm to your subject of your supposed social experiment, then you're not really obeying that code of conduct, are you? Also, the person conducting the social experiment should not directly be involved in the social experiment, but be a neutral observer so they can gain tangible data that is able to be peer-reviewed without any biases, or at least with as few biases as possible. I sincerely doubt that online pranksters are neutral observers because they are actively trying to get the reactions for their content, and they will take precautions in order to get these reactions. Finally, we know that many pranksters hire stooges or actors to take part in their pranks, so there is a chance that they are being generally dishonest with their research and results of their supposed social experiment. So no, this is not a social experiment by any means. The final thing I want to discuss in this video is a little bit of advice for other furry content creators. There are many other forms of content that are more positive and 10 times better than any prank channel could ever make. This community is creative and supportive. However, with that said, there is unfortunately a content creator that has chosen to make this kind of content. They're also in the furry fandom, and well, let's just say they're not very good for the fandom or the content that it produces. I am not going to show their videos, nor say their name, nor show their image at all on this video for 3 reasons. The first reason is I simply do not want to give them any publicity. I think the less people that know about them, the better. The second reason is I do not want anyone harassing them for the content that they have so foolishly decided to create. The third reason is, apparently they have tried to take down other channels for criticizing their content, so I don't want my channel taken down, or falsely accused of copyright or something. To further prove my point of why we shouldn't do prank videos, I will use a story that they themselves have told as an example. The furry who has chosen to create this type of pranking content has told a story about a time when they were beaten up for pranking somebody. Beating somebody up or physically harming somebody for creating this type of content is never acceptable. What someone should always do is choose to not participate. Simply walk away and don't say anything. If they still bother you, seek out allies. There is always strength in numbers, and often the prankster will be intimidated and leave. If they still bother you, then you might not have any choice but to contact authorities. Now, you would think that after being beaten up, this person in the furry fandom would stop making this kind of content. After all, it was the direct result of you getting beaten up, right? Common sense. Well, even though they've told their story, I guess to dissuade people from making this kind of content, they're still making this kind of content for some reason. I don't know, maybe they like this kind of attention, maybe they're trying to play the victim, I don't know, I'm not in their head. However, the fact that this incident has occurred where they made somebody so upset that it resulted in them getting beaten up should be further reason why this content should not be made. It's dangerous. And if you make somebody angry to the point of no return, it could also turn deadly.
After a Virginia high school student was shot and killed Saturday for doing a TikTok door knock prank.
A trampoline park was a different scene Friday night. Police say a man named Timothy Wilkes and a friend did a prank robbery, running at a group with a butcher knife. That's when one in the group shot Wilkes, unaware that it was fake. Police say it was being filmed as part of a YouTube video and that no charges are being filed right now. People living nearby said they heard the whole thing.
So the point of all this, please, please, please do not make this kind of content. The fandom is better than that. You are better than that. Everybody is better than this stupid, ridiculous content that really should have died many years ago. Like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you soon. Hey, if you enjoy our content, maybe you would like to help us support our channel. Every little bit helps. And buy me a coffee sometime. I would also like to give a special shout out to the amazing artist who did the extraordinary character stills we used in this video. The ever-incredible Bleptarts. Definitely check out their artwork if you get the chance. Also, if you're interested in the flittering thoughts that go upon in my brain, consider following us on Blue Sky. And thank you once again for your support.